In this country, plenty of men and women will drive miles for a good burger. Which one, though, is the best? Well, there's a brand new Consumer Reports survey to rate the burgers at 18 restaurants. The top choices.
I spent $87 in 6 hours eating every major fast food fish burger in America, and honestly, what I discovered about the number one spot completely flipped my expectations. Look, some chains are straight up charging you $8 for what's basically a frozen hockey puck with tartar sauce, while others, and this blew my mind, are serving legitimate restaurant-quality fish for under $5. So today we're starting with the absolute champion and working our way down to the sandwiches that honestly should have never left the freezer. I've reviewed over 500 fast food items at this point, and let me tell you, this ranking is definitely going to ruffle some feathers. Real quick though, before we jump in, here's how I scored everything. Fish quality got 40% of the weight because obviously that's what matters most. Texture and crispiness got 25% because nobody wants soggy fish. Value for money got 20%, and build quality rounded it out at 15%. I bought every single sandwich within a 4-hour window at peak lunch rush and tested them all immediately while they were still hot. All right, taking the crown at number 1 is Culver's North Atlantic Cod Sandwich. And listen, this isn't just the best fast food fish burger. This thing legitimately beats some actual sit-down restaurants I've been to. The first bite hits you with this insane crunch that actually stays crunchy even after sitting in the bag for 10 minutes, which never happens with fast food fish. We're talking about wild-caught North Atlantic cod that's seriously thick. I actually measured it, and it came in at nearly 2 inches, and when you bite into it, the fish flakes apart perfectly with this buttery flavor that tastes nothing like the frozen stuff most places use. What really got me, though, is how well they thought out the whole sandwich construction. The bun is sturdy enough to handle all the sauce without turning into a soggy mess. And speaking of sauce, their tartar has actual olives and capers in it, which sounds weird but totally works and gives it this tangy, briny kick that cuts through the fried coating perfectly. At around $6, you're getting real cod that they hand batter to order, meaning they literally batter it fresh when you order instead of pulling some pre-frozen thing out of a bag. The only real downside is Culver's mostly exists in the Midwest and is spreading pretty slowly to other regions, so if you don't have one near you, I feel for you. Because this is the fish burger that made me realize fast food can actually nail seafood when they try. Coming in hot at number 2 is Popeye's Flounder Fish Sandwich, which you can get in classic or spicy, and man did Popeyes bring their A-game to the fish sandwich wars. The flounder has way more substance than the typical Alaska pollock everybody else uses. It's meatier and holds up better to all the toppings. That brioche bun they use is straight butter heaven. The pickles are thick cut and actually taste like they were properly brined instead of just soaked in vinegar. And if you go with the spicy version, you get this peppery mayo-based heat that somehow manages to complement the fish without completely taking over the whole flavor profile. Here's the catch, though. It's only available during Lent season, but when it drops, it's easily one of the boldest fish sandwiches you can get at a drive-thru. Recent taste tests from food reviewers keep putting Popeyes at or near the top, and after eating way too many of these, I totally get why. The classic runs about 680 calories while the spicy pushes 730, and honestly, go spicy if you want my recommendation, because that heat wakes up every bite without drowning out the fish. Number 3, and I know this is going to sound absolutely insane, goes to Arby's with their King's Hawaiian Fish Deluxe, because apparently the roast beef place knows how to do fish. They actually roll out 3 different fish sandwiches during Lent, but the King's Hawaiian version is where it's at. The sweet Hawaiian roll plays off the savory fish and tangy tartar in this weirdly perfect way. Plus, they add lettuce, tomato, and cheddar, which gives the whole thing enough structure to handle their longer plank-style fillet without falling apart in your hands. If you're weird about sauce, grab the regular crispy fish instead of the fish and cheddar. But honestly, the King's Hawaiian Deluxe feels like something you'd pay $15 for at a trendy food truck. Limited time only around Lent. But when you can get it, this thing punches way above what anyone expects from Arby's. Wendy's Crispy Panko Fish Sandwich lands at number 4, and they're doing something smart here with that panko coating. They take wild-caught Alaska pollock, season it up, coat it in panko breadcrumbs which stay way crispier than regular breading, then pile on pickles, lettuce, their creamy dill tartar sauce, and for some reason a slice of American cheese. The whole thing comes on their standard bun, and while it's only around during Lent season running through late April usually, it consistently delivers on texture better than most year-round options. What's crazy is recent taste tests actually ranked Wendy's above McDonald's for both flavor and crunch, which, considering McDonald's basically invented the fast food fish sandwich, is pretty wild. That dill in the tartar sauce brings this brightness that cuts through all the fried goodness perfectly. Though if cheese on fish weirds you out, just ask them to skip it, because the tartar and pickles carry enough flavor on their own. Quick time out here. If you're sitting there wondering whether your favorite chain made it into the top 5, smash that like button so I know you want more deep dive fast food content, because we've got some seriously controversial rankings coming up, including one that's going to make a lot of people really mad. Captain D's giant fish sandwich crashes into spot number 5, and they call it giant for a reason, because this absolute unit comes with 2 full batter-dipped fillets stacked on a bun with lettuce and tartar. It basically feels like someone took an entire fish and chips platter and turned it into a sandwich, coming in at a completely ridiculous 1,010 calories. But here's the thing, if you want to feel like you actually ate something substantial, if you're really hungry and want that full-on fried fish experience, this is your move. Grab some lemon and extra tartar, because the acidity helps cut through all that richness, especially when you're powering through the second half of this monster. Whataburgers. What-a-catch sandwich sits at number 6, and this Texas favorite only shows up during Lent with wild-caught Alaska pollock in seasoned panko, lettuce, tomato, and tartar on their signature bun. What makes this one interesting is they season the panko with their proprietary spice blend, so you get this subtle kick that doesn't quite qualify as spicy, but definitely wakes up your taste buds. Throw on some jalapenos or their creamy pepper sauce if you want to really lean into that Texas-style heat, though the main limitation here is you need to actually be in Whataburger territory to try it. Okay, number 7, and I already know the comment section is about to explode, but McDonald's Filet-O-Fish only makes it to number 7. Yeah, the original, the icon, the sandwich, that literally started the whole fast food fish game back in 1962, sits here in the middle of the pack. Look, it's got the nostalgia factor with that steamed bun, half slice of American cheese, and that perfectly square Alaska pollock patty with the classic tartar sauce that tastes exactly like it did when you were a kid. The thing is, it's just not competitive anymore when you compare it to what else is out there. It's consistent, sure, available everywhere year-round, definitely, and they've got that MSC-certified sustainable sourcing, which is actually pretty cool, but the sandwich itself feels soft and mild compared to the competition. 380 calories makes it one of the lighter options, though. And pro tip, always ask for it fresh, because most locations will drop a new patty if you're willing to wait 3 minutes, and that wait makes the difference between sad and serviceable. Hardee's and Carl Jr. share the number 8 spot with their Red Hook beer-battered fish sandwich, and the beer batter thing could be amazing, but the execution is just okay. They use Alaska pollock in that Red Hook beer batter, which gives it this malty sweetness and creates these little crispy bubbles on the surface that look great in photos. During Lent, they usually run 2 for $7 deals, which makes it decent value-wise, but you really need to ask them to assemble it fresh, because that beer batter goes from crispy to soggy faster than any other coating style. Long John Silver's Wild Alaska Pollock Sandwich comes in at 9, and look, these people have been doing fried fish since forever, so they know their way around a fryer. The sandwich itself is super straightforward, just crispy pollock on a bun with tartar, and it definitely benefits from their decades of fish frying expertise. Problem is, it can get really salty and heavy, especially if you're also getting their fries or hush puppies. Plus, finding an actual Long John Silver's these days is getting harder, since they've been closing locations left and right. Bojangles slides into number 10 with their Bojangler, and in 2025, they added the Bojangler Deluxe, which actually improves things quite a bit. They coat Alaska pollock in panko, hit it with their famous seasoning, add American cheese and Duke-style tartar on a toasted bun, and the deluxe version swaps in their bow sauce and adds lettuce, tomato, and pickles. You get this genuinely different southern spice thing going on with mild heat and a touch of sweetness, which is cool if you're in Bojangles territory during Lent, though the seasoning can be a bit much if you're not into that flavor profile. Freddy's frozen custard and steak burgers hits 11 with their deluxe crispy fish sandwich, and while Freddy's isn't everywhere, when they do fish during Lent, they usually execute pretty well with their fast, casual attention to detail. The problem is, it's only around from mid-February to early April, and their thinner burger buns can get overwhelmed by the fish if it sits too long. Before we dive into the real disasters at the bottom, hit subscribe because I eat this stuff so you can avoid wasting your money on garbage, and trust me, these next few are rough. AW restaurants, and I'm talking about US locations, not the Canadian ones, which are totally different, theoretically offers a beer-battered quarter-pound cod sandwich during Lent at number 12. When you can actually find it, because availability is terrible, the thick cod and beer batter combo should be great, but too many locations just don't carry it even during peak season. Dairy Queen's Wild Alaskan fish sandwich limps in at 13 with their seasonal pollock sandwich that's perfectly fine if you're already there for a blizzard, but definitely not worth a special trip. The whole thing tends toward bland unless you load it up with extra pickles to add some life to it. Checkers and Rallies bring budget vibes at 14 with their crispy fish and deep-sea double, and these are exactly what you'd expect from a place selling 2 sandwiches for $5. Hot, salty, cheap, and perfect for when it's 2 in the morning and you need something to soak up bad decisions, but definitely not competing on quality. White Castle's panko fish slider at 15 suffers from the obvious problem of being slider-sized when everyone else is serving full sandwiches, though the panko coating on the little Alaska pollock patty does provide decent crunch for what it is. You need at least 2 or 3 to feel like you ate anything substantial. Sonic's fish sandwich at 16 has all the right ingredients on paper with panko breaded Alaska pollock, tartar, lettuce, and pickles on a brioche bun for about $4.50. But Sonic's execution varies so wildly between locations that you're basically gambling every time you order it. When it's fresh and assembled right away, it's decent, but let it sit in that bag while they make your cherry limeade and tots, and it turns into a soggy mess fast. Jack in the Box somehow made their fish sandwich worse than it used to be, landing at 17 with this weirdly sweet version that tastes like they accidentally added sugar to the tartar sauce. The Alaska pollock itself would be fine if they could nail the coating and sauce, but instead, you get this odd sweet and mushy situation that nobody asked for. And dead last, the absolute worst fast food fish sandwich you can buy, Burger King's Big Fish and Fiery Big Fish at 18. This should be good because on paper they've got everything right with Alaska pollock, panko breading, tartar, pickles, lettuce, often on a brioche bun. But multiple independent reviewers keep reporting the same problems year after year. Weird chemical aftertaste, mushy texture, and this general sense that something went very wrong between the concept and execution. The fiery version, with spicy glaze, is slightly better, but that's like saying a dumpster fire smells better than a tire fire. If Burger King is literally your only option, get the fiery if available. Demand it fresh, load it with extra pickles, go light on the tartar, and honestly, just prepare yourself for disappointment. So there's your complete rundown from the legitimately excellent Culver's cod that could hang with any seafood restaurant, all the way down to whatever Burger King is doing that barely qualifies as food. The wild thing about this category is how much quality varies, and paying more definitely doesn't guarantee you're getting better. I know putting McDonald's at 7 is going to trigger some people, so blow up the comments and tell me why I'm wrong. But more importantly, let me know what regional chains I missed that deserve to be on this list. Next week, I'm ranking every major chicken sandwich, And the number one pick is going to be even more controversial than this one. So, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next ranking.